we're going to just review a few things that we learned last week, and then we're going to talk a little bit, dig deeper into how Kwame followed the engineering process in his creation of his rhythm for his cousin Kofi. Okay? What I want you to do is write down 3 character traits that helped Kwame solve his problem. All right, turn and talk at your table. What character traits did you come up with that helped Kwame through the design process? If you have the same as members in your group, then circle that trait. If you have something different, explain to your table why you picked that trait.
So who else covered?
I got Kwame.
Okay, I'll circle that.
What do you have? Creativity, curious, and skillfulness. What do you have? Don't tell me the same thing.
I have creative, curious.
All right, let's start with Kylie's table. Give us one of character trait.
Creative.
Creative. Why do you say Kwame was creative?
Because in the story, he took some items and he made it into like a rhythm.
Okay. All right. Raise your hand if you agree with Kylie and that was one of your words that you picked. Anything else?
Bold.
Bold. Why do you say Kwame was bold?
Since he kept trying, even though he messed up, he didn't give up on himself and he kept going and it worked.
Okay. All right. So that brings us with another word that we may not have on our paper. Do you know what word I'm thinking of that we use here at the Baker a lot? Begins with the letter P.
Perseverance.
Yeah. Persevere is someone who doesn't what?
Give up.
Give up. So which one of these then do you think is the trait that all engineers need to have?
To be creative. And
Creative? You said and. Creative and what?
to be a thinker.
So more than one?
No, just one.
Yes. Yeah.
How many of you think more than one of these is what an engineer should be?
There's many other words out there.
So Kwame had all of those traits while he was trying to solve his problem. Which character in the story was an acoustical engineer?
Professor Payne.
Professor Payne and Kwame's dad, right? So the two of them are engineers. Let's take a look on page 17 where Professor Payne is discussing with Kwame and his dad about the spectrogram. Ariana, how does she explain that to Kwame?
Well, she explains it by saying it's like shows pictures on how high or low pitch it is and how fast or slow it goes.
Okay, so the pictures are a representation of the sounds of the elephants. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the spectrogram is the picture representation, not the sound itself. Okay, so if you remember in the story, Kwame is not recording his drumming, correct? So how is he going to use a spectrogram to help him?
He's trying to make ideas. He's trying to make it out of drum.
So he's going to somehow make a representation of his beat for Kofi? Okay, raise your hand if you agree with that. When we have a lot of sound and we need to quiet that sound down, okay, acoustical engineers, they call that damp the sound, okay? So right now I want you to turn to the back of your book, the back cover of your book, and take a look at that engineering design process diagram that's right there. On your desk, at each of your desks, you have some sticky notes, okay? What I would like you to do is on each sticky note, I want you to write each of the steps. So on the first one, I want you to write ask. On the second sticky note, I want you to write the second step, imagine. And then pull them apart as you write it and just put them on your desk. And once you have the steps written on the sticky notes, there is also a recording sheet at each table. Could you make sure that everyone has one at your table? Let's go into the book and let's find where Kwame started asking questions. What was the first question that Kwame asked? So are we going to find this at the beginning, the middle, or the end of the book?
Beginning.
Should be near the beginning. Raise your hand when you found it.
How do you look at sound?
How can you look at sound? Remember that? What page is that on, Mason?
Page 16.
Page 16. Do you remember that? All right, take your Ask sticky note, and I want you to put your Ask sticky note on page 16. And after he asked that question, what did Professor Payne do? Did he answer his question?
Yep.
How did he answer his question?
He answered Kwame's question by taking a stick and drawing in the sand.
Yeah, she showed him how we could look at sound by representing the sound in the dirt, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What other questions did he ask? Mm-hmm.
How can something be a sound if we can't hear it?
How can something be a sound if you can't hear it? Where in the story is he imagining what it's going to look like? Mm-hmm.
Page 27.
Page 27. Everybody turn to page 27. Which sticky note are you going to put there? Imagine. So Dad tested it out. What happened after he tested it out?
Kwame thinks it's not right.
Okay, so what is he doing?
He's trying to improve the design before he sends it to Kofi.
So he made some improvements before he sent it off to Kofi. All right, any questions?
No.
Yep.
What are we going to do tomorrow?
We are going to be acoustical engineers tomorrow. Whenever I pick up a new book, I always read the title, and I flip through the pages and look at the pictures, and then I start reading. And right away, I fell in love with Kwame. The story was just right for my class. I could tell there were going to be connections made, and so it kind of made it real. It made Kwame real for them. And if they make those connections, then it's all going to come, they're not going to mind sharing and participating and being a creative engineer.